super zoomed out. All right, we're gonna do with that. We are gonna do with that. And I had a feeling that the height was not correct on here either. Sorry. trying to do this without getting our things all screwed up here. My goodness. That was craziness. Craziness. Oh. Okay. Let's get somewhat reoriented here. Had the mic go flying and everything, so. Okay, cool. Well. There we go. There we go. Okay. Almost back on track here. I had switched devices and phone holders, so everything was all screwed up there. But we're back. We're back in action, huh? Well, let's see what the TikTokers have to say here. I know you guys have been submitting some stuff in there, so let's have a look-see. And if I don't ever get to you guys' question, submit it again or send me messages there. Oh, we got a memory question. Okay, so how do I improve my memory and get it to peak again? It depends on where and why you lost your memory in the first place. Sugar has a lot to do with this. And if you've been watching me for a little bit, you know that sugar can damage the entire system. So having too much circulating sugar will actually have the brain shrink in response to that from the circulating sugars and glycation that goes on. So to protect yourself from some of that, Gymnema Oregon grape can help a lot with the circulating sugar right now, and even resensitizing insulin. Oregon grape obviously having a ton of berberine in there so that you can, at a mitochondrial level, deal with that glucose, use more fat and protein metabolism there, and just stop hitting the gas on all things sugar related. But from the brain standpoint, and what you could do there for support, Bacopa or Bacopa and Gotu Kola in combination. Really good things there. Even Mucuna seed. So link in bio for all the stuff there. But you do really have to get this evaluated through lab testing so that you know why. And, that first layer of support, getting inflammation down and supporting all these cells and pathways in the way, assume them be, doesn't really do you that much justice. Because I have people with labs come back that I do not expect them to come back that way at all. And I'm like super shocked that their body's adapting in some crazy way that you can't see through your own opinion or what you would come up with just thinking through the situation. So you want to stop using that old framework of thinking that got you into trouble in the first place, which is a this for that approach. You have to know what you're doing and why and have a direction going forward. So, those are initial steps for support, but looking at sugars, A1C, insulin, even looking at your lipids there too, knowing where triglycerides are. Do you have fatty liver? Do you look down and see a stomach on you? Because the GI has a lot to do with your brain. And if you're running into sugar handling issues, doing soda and heavy carbs and all that, that's just, my goodness, a huge thing that can change the outcome there. So by getting those things out, starting to support the body there, getting sugar down, supporting the brain, but then really looking at some blood work and probably a GI test, to be honest, because there's a lot of connections with the GI and the brain. So, good question, though. Hello. People popping in there, saying, hey, what's going on Facebook? TikTok. Okay, you gotta scroll. Oh, I hate this scrolling situation. Let's go like this. I thought I was going to use my computer more, but we're just doing it live, huh? Okay. I brought up insulin resistance. Not sure if you saw it. So is that cutting it would help? What is going on here? Zach D. Films from Wish. Again with the actor names. Every time I go live. Without mistake. Emily, having a good old time. Can you tell us about insulin resistance if possible? Yeah, doing too much sugar. You desensitize, basically, your body's ability to have insulin match blood sugar. And you overabuse that situation, and now pancreas can't keep up with insulin to grab all that circulating blood sugar. It forces the liver and the rest of the body to adapt, stack a lot more visceral fat on. And yeah, it does a lot of damage. Vascular damage, neurological damage. Hello from Israel all over the world, huh? Sorry for bumping the camera around. Usually I try and have my computer here, but I don't know. Sometimes it's annoying to reach like all the way across, dodge the computer and all this stuff I have on the desk here. So we got to deal with the wobbly cameras as we scroll the comments here. Whoa. What do you think of peptides? I think that we'll find out later that they're not as cracked up as they seem to be. Ozempic's a peptide. So, yeah. How's that working? But nice. See some people sending messages along. Beautiful. Because, I mean, some people are like, I don't really want to share my stuff with the world on here, which, hey, I totally get that. Send your messages in there. Cover it up, but let's... I keep thinking that there's new comments and stuff, but it's just all the people joining. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? But either way, closer and closer to getting the X-ray here set up, which is just super fun, by the way. Giving you some updates here. X-rays coming along. We got to do some final permit things, which is really the last step before actual work starts getting done in the X-ray room. So cool on all of that, but we're kind of in a holding pattern aside from that. But seeing a bunch of patients, helping a bunch of people out, getting labs ordered, having good results coming along, which is nice. I got a couple patient case videos coming out from some testimonials, and those would be really cool. I'll share those a bunch on here, and all the rest of the platforms too. But some of you guys, I was kind of surprised. You're like different screen names on every single platform. Some people are popping from the TikTok live to the Facebook one to the YouTube one, and I'm like, wait a minute, this screen name's kind of familiar. So that's kind of cool. I don't even know. Oh. But yes. Either way. Let me see if there were some questions that I missed here. I use my water bottle for a scrolling maneuver to rest the arm on, and one day it's going to bite me in the butt. And this water is going to go flying. But you guys might see that, so that would be kind of funny. Carolina, what's going on there? Popping into the Facebook. I was just talking about how some of the people we have are popping all of the other lives too. So we got the nice mic hooked up to Facebook, so hope you guys on TikTok are not jealous today. I know we get some comments about how good the audio is when the big old mic's plugged in. Oh, okay. So we covered those too. Cool. My goodness. We already ran through those so far, and I don't think I saw any new ones come in there. Yeah. What else? We got X-ray room coming along. We are just rolling. We are in full-blown rolling motion here. So, kind of cool. But greetings from Ghana. I've actually had a couple viewers from Ghana. I think it's nuts how you could do a live and talk to people all over the world. I'm still amazed by that. Topic is kind of determined by you guys asking your health questions there. I'm curious as to how the weather is in Ghana. If it's very much warmer compared to here. Probably. Ghana and Uganda. Dang. Look at that. Well, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome on in there. What else have I been seeing? I've been seeing a lot of autism recently. I don't know what has gotten out there, but I've been seeing so many autistic cases coming in. And they do wonderful because this approach really applies to especially that autistic population, because there's so much chemically that goes on in today's world that influences the brain a lot through the immune system. So you have a lot of immune and neurological irritants that are messing everybody up. And you have, from your water to your food to your air, the things you put on your body even are just riddled in chemical stressors, things that are not really supposed to be in the body in the first place. So skin absorbs things, all the things. It's warmer compared to your end. Hello from the Philippines. Oh my goodness. All over the world. Carolina from Poland. What else? Yeah, I bet How warm is it though? Out of curiosity. Okay. Diet, exercise. Which one reduces insulin faster? Whoa. Probably. I would say the diet because that's where it's coming from. You're doing too much, sugars and things. But I do have plenty of patients to where it's mainly an adrenal issue, and their stress is leading to high sugar. So it's not all the time that it's coming from dietary things, but a large percentage of the time it is, and that's why you can't really assume all the time there. But I mean, yeah, I would go with diet first. Do you think you can heal Crohn's naturally? Well, Crohn's is autoimmune, so your body's starting to attack its own cells because of something. And a lot of people with that issue do not figure out what those triggers are in the first place for the autoimmune reactions going on. So it's like, okay, why don't we do testing that's going to reveal the immune triggers, whether that be food or a lot of microbial irritants, bacteria, yeast, parasitic things that go on, disruptions to the GI barrier, to the GI lining, and what the body's trying to fight and push out there. Plus, from a nutrient load coming in, how are you even breaking down food? Are you even getting the food that you're eating in the first place? And in terms of breakdown and then absorption of that, so that you can take all those nutrients, break them down, and then put them back together into tissues and new cells and fuel and all that. So, yeah, the GI controls a heck of a lot. There's a lot of immune nutrients that go on there. I would start with probably food allergy, doing some blood work, and looking into the GI. In the short term, can you do Albizia? Do I like seeing people do autoimmune type of pathway support with NF-kappa beta and some interleukins there, interleukin 6 and 8. I like turmeric. I like, seeing somebody do some chamomile in the beginning too, so that you can get a lot of protective mucosal lining around the GI tract, and that disruption is what's causing so much pain in the first place. So that's how you, at least in the beginning, get inflammation down. Cutting out, obviously, gluten, dairy, corn, soy, processed sugars. Getting your fiber up like crazy. Watch with seeds, though. You really want to go to fermentable foods, pickled foods, a lot of veggie sources, sauerkraut, kimchi's, kefir, things like that. You look like Evan Peters. We almost made it without getting an Evan Peters comment, but we're going live, so we at least get one, But who agrees with unplugged? Let's see. One's in the chat. Oh, I saw an RO question. Thoughts on RO water systems? They are pretty awesome. I do think there's one machine that's pretty cool because it's kind of a lifetime thing, but like distilled countertop water filtration systems to where, you'd have to pour a couple gallons into it, but then it goes through a distillation process and you remove pretty much everything that could harm you there. But yeah, that would be number one, distillation, countertop wise. But the only thing is you're going to pay like $700-800 for, a good quality unit there. So can you do some RO filtration in the meantime? Yeah. But then again, that's going to require some sink installation or whole home water filtration. So I don't know. I like that countertop distillation one. At least correct all the water that you're using, drinking, cooking with, because that's like the majority of it. But you do want to protect shower water too. That's extremely important, especially in city environments, because it's just riddled with a ton of chemicals in there. Runoff, you even have hormones in there that can't even be filtered out in the first place. So tons of endocrine disruptors there, and for the immune system too. So there's just a lot. And for the people joining on Facebook, I almost said YouTube, we've got TikTok side by side with you guys. So I'm just bouncing back and forth between the two platforms, going through all the comments that come in. Obviously, anything in regards to health, especially natural health there, or the holistic realm, ask away. And we can get you some solutions there, whether it be testing or things you could do at home, lifestyle-wise, food-wise, supplementation, and take you through all the way. So link is in bio for the store there for things I mentioned, whether you're on Facebook or TikTok. just quick announcement before we keep rolling. Do you have any information on the female glandular outage? Yeah, our glandulars are out of stock for some of them, but that won't be for long. So, probably from the holiday sale over the winter, probably did it. But we will be back online with everything soon. What's the best time to eat in the evening to reduce insulin resistance? It would be not eating in the evening because that's going to impact you more than if you were to structure meals like a time-restrictive eating thing, which I love. Time-restrictive eating, great concept, because a lot of people can't handle complete fasts, which are over 72-hour marks. So doing something like a fast or an intermittent or restrictive time eating, a big breakfast meal, heavy proteins, things like that, and then a late lunch, and that should be your 2 meals. Obviously prioritizing proteins like crazy, fats, get your sugars from berries and fermentable fibers and things like that. But yeah, with that you can have a more thermogenic effect throughout the entire day. And obviously getting resistance training in, weightlifting, sprinting, even sauna, you can carry some of those exercise benefits after exercise too. Even cold exposure. Cold water you're obviously going to burn a lot more white fat and convert that into brown fat. Extremely helpful for the brain, for the neurological systems, which is what controls everything. Plus you burn way more calories, get a ton of neurotransmitters from doing cold exposures, things like that. Do hard things. That's how you can better a lot of things for the brain. But yeah, for the insulin resistance question, don't eat at night, in short. Memory says, hello, Doc. Mara says, I agree. Nice. Thanks, Mara. Backing me up. Appreciate you. Okay, these people... Oh, Unplugged, repping the wellness way. These people heal you. It works. I've been a patient going on 2 years. Oh my goodness. To what office, Unplugged? I probably know the docs there. I know a good bit of people in the company there. Real docs don't have to advertise. Nice. Okay. Well, we're just trying to help people live better lives here. So, if you're not about that, I don't know what to tell you. This is how you can impact a ton of people at once. So, I'd rather feed into the world. Does globalization... Okay, what the heck? These are health questions, people. Can I guess your name? It's actually on the top of the live, so... Okay, Liam, let's help out Liam here. C. diff question, so gut question. They're trying to put me on antibiotics. I don't trust them. So if you have something like C. diff, that is very aggressive. I would want you to send me a message here because you're going to have to work on things, with some urgency because it is a powerful infection, as you've seen in your symptoms, and I'm sure you're going through it. But yeah, I mean... chicory root inulin, oregano oil, dandelion root. You could do some Oregon grape in there. I would want to see the test that they did on you. I would wonder how they did that lab, and if there were any other things that they looked for in there too, or if it was just a pathology test. But if not, I would probably want to run 1 or 2 additional labs with that too. But oregano oil, some chicory root inulin, dandelion root, Oregon grape, link in bio there. You could at least start on some things, start hitting it a little bit more aggressive, but this is gonna take some work. So if you need help with that, send me a message or schedule a free call. Link is in bio. Cool. Joyce says thanks. Joyce, I've seen you in here a couple times. What's going on there? Facebook's so quiet. You guys aren't saying anything. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Come on. Why is this being so annoying? Okay. Alicia, holistic approach for hormonal imbalances. Kind of a play on words, but if you're cycling, you're gonna always have hormonal imbalance, especially as a female. And it should be that way. But now, how are the hormonal fluctuations? Carolina's laughing already. Because hormones are a big thing. They create the reality that you live every day. So hormones are huge. It's why they're being thrown off. Usually there's an immune system reason in the first place. So just start that conversation with that. But yeah, hormonal imbalances, if you're talking estrogens getting too high or too low, progesterone, same thing, some of the androgens, testosterone, DHT, how you go about that is looking at blood and urine testing for those two things. Because now you know, okay, how is mental stress playing into this? How are inflammatory reasons playing into this? Dietary things and some lifestyle factors. But I do like getting stressed out. I do like doing some California poppy. In general, Dong Quai root, the first 12 days of the cycle, helping with some uterine contractions there, even with menstrual flow, the FSH signaling so that you can get to a proper ovulation time in the middle of the month there. That's why I usually do it days 1 through 12. Then 13 or 15 through 26, you could do some Chase Tree. All three of those are actually liquid tinctures. But Chase Tree more or less helping with the LH signaling, helping your brain spike up a nice progesterone signal. That's what leads to the breakdown of ovarian follicles. So production and breakdown of those is how you make the majority of your hormones as a cycling female. Assuming that you're not getting all those stolen from stress. Once again, urine and blood testing for that. California poppy, Dong Quai, Chase Tree, and those are good starters, but testing is going to be key. The Dutch, by far, one of my favorite ways to do that. I have Sjogren's brain fog and blurry vision. So, again, another autoimmune here. Looking at inflammatory sources. I will say this till I'm blue in the face. Especially with the autoimmune thing. Can you support some of those pathways that autoimmunity favors with turmeric? Can you do some ashwagandha, some Rehmannia? Yeah, and can that help with interleukin signaling, getting NF-kappa beta, the major immune or inflammatory pathways, to calm down? Sure. But again, you have to find for your body what are the immune triggers, because if you keep going with that same framework and thinking of, okay, here is a diagnosis name, here's what you take, how has that worked? I mean, you're still living with this diagnosis. So, with MS, with all these different conditions that I see on a daily basis, you have to find the immune triggers. Otherwise, you'll be taking supplements forever. So you can get to a good point to where you're not in that situation of always having to look for something to take because of symptoms presenting themselves. But yeah, I think I would want to see some blood work. I would want to do probably an oats test on you. That way we see metabolically what's happening on the inside. What are some microbial things going on? How do you remove things from your body? How do you detox there? And what are some B vitamins and some other markers to point toward nutritional things? But lupus, oh my goodness, Debbie, another autoimmune question. Yeah, I mean, again with the autoimmune triggers. And lupus, I see a lot connected to the GI. There's some issues that go on with yeast, sometimes issues with mold exposure, mold in the home, even if it's a new home. I know people hate hearing that. They're like, we just built this house. But, it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. But immune system triggers, you have to figure those out. You have to. And insurance won't lead you there, quite obviously. Insurance is the craziest, dumbest game I've ever seen in my life. You get the bare minimum, and you're actually getting gypped, like totally at this point with how that whole insurance thing works. But anyways, yeah, food allergy tests, looking at the GI, probably something like a Genova test. That way you could see breakdown and absorption of nutrients. You could see the layers within the GI, what needs work, where pre and probiotic counts are, what are opportunistic infections occurring there. But for a lot of people, it's starting with the belly and supporting the liver, The adrenals have a lot to do with autoimmunity as well, because your body creates cortisone, and usually if you're an American, you're going to be stressing out all the time, depleting a bunch of cortisol. So you're pulling away from that healing and repairing phase. So, but yeah, there's different ways to support that, but it depends on you. You know, where am I from? I'm from New Jersey, the U.S. Some people are like from different countries, so I'm like trained to say U.S. now, but New Jersey, and we work with people all over the world, so distance is not Canadian. Yeah, I got a bunch of Canadians. You guys are awesome. Let's see, where did I miss? Is it okay to get a blood test and a urine analysis on 4 hours of sleep? Oof, all those are going to be off. All those are going to be dramatically off. But, you know, if that's a common thing that happens, I always want to see patients where they're at. So, like, if you're taking things as a patient, it's like, continue to do so, because I want to see what that's doing on your labs and if it's actually working. So that's how you go about that. Don't stop. You know, you want to catch your body in the positions where it's trying to handle the stressors that you're constantly going through, so that you could see that little window there into what needs to happen support wise. But good morning from the Philippines. It is certainly not morning here. It is 5 p.m. 5:11 actually. So okie doke. Unplugged. Snap C. diff is also incredibly contagious. Okay. Stomach acid, getting your digestive bitters in, but virtual assistant, no. Brazil, oh my goodness. You guys are calm. You guys are from everywhere today. That's awesome. Hello, hello. So many hellos. I feel like the past couple days, you guys always saying hello. How are you? I'm doing well. Glad you guys ask, you know. But what was I saying before? I was talking about the autistic realm. Where am I from? I'm from New Jersey. But in terms of, okay, wait, another question. I'm 6'5", 300 pounds. Can't lose weight. But build muscle. Okay. So you can build muscle, but you can't lose fat, is what you're saying there. I would want you to isolate your sugars to berry sources, things like rice. You know, don't go after the high glycemic things. I'll allow, you know, something like rice or something like that, just because you're hopefully doing a bunch of weight training. Sprinting is probably a thing to throw in there. Cold exposure, so cold plunge, things like that. Convert a bunch of white fat to brown. And supporting your liver, doing things like milk thistle and Oregon grape, so you can help with fat mobilization. Even something like coleus too, same thing, converting those fats down through the liver. And milk thistle helping a ton with triglycerides and things. So if you have a belly on you and you're like, man, like, I'm a strong dude, but I can't get rid of this belly, your liver's having some trouble converting things from either water to water soluble or to fat soluble. So obviously I love knowing where blood sugar's at, insulin, things like that. Fiber, also get fiber up, and maybe supporting a little bit of thyroid functionality here. You could do a little bit of thyroid glandular, which will have liver in there, some thyroid in there. But those are a couple initial steps. Really focusing on your liver, isolating where you're getting sugar from, watch the high glycemic things, and cold exposure, sprinting, sauna. You should do really well. Yeah, I'd be curious what the diet's looking like there. Be very curious. You're welcome. Can finasteride contribute to thyroid problems? Well, anything you do or take is going to affect your whole body. Even stubbing your toe will change your freaking heart rate. So, I mean, you can easily see that from just looking at mechanism of actions and seeing how different organ systems respond to that. But if it's a hair loss thing and you're worried about thyroid function there too, part of your hair loss could be from a lack of thyroid function. And now, man, are we getting doubled down on that not functioning well? Could be. Could very well be. Can also be DHT conversions, can be nutrition coming in. I love when people are doing things like organ meats, prioritizing proteins, because you're going to get a lot of the building blocks to make hair in the first place. So, don't forget about those things. Hard for you to lose weight for Miss Debbie. Yeah, with the lupus, knowing that you're constantly inflamed, so your body can't even get into a weight loss mode, so to speak. You're going to have to rely on quicker breakdown of food. So a lot of carbs are going to be mainly used for nutrient needs. That's why I love looking at something like an oats test on people that are autoimmune, because you could see how nutrition coming in is affecting your body and how you make energy, how you get rid of things, even how your brain's making hormones and really cool stuff, and some exposure to things microbially. But yeah, I would love to do notes plus some blood work, probably figure out why that's happening, because maybe it's an issue with some fat breakdown that you can't get into that mode. I love berberine. Berberine, fantastic for something like that. A safe, high potent source to get that from, Oregon grape, by far. Are there better sources? There's probably one more, but that you want to watch. Coleus too. Coleus is great with leptin resistance, with converting fats from cholesterol down into the sex hormones, which can help you a lot from that adrenal perspective. But yes. Okay, pain in my kidneys. Have to put a hot water bottle on my kidneys. Okay. Many questions here. I would want you to send me a message on this, because there could be something going on there. Could be infection, could be stone, could be referred pain, could be low back pain that's giving you flank pain, could be oxalate-rich diet and things, can be bun getting too high, can be electrolyte imbalances. You can have, EGFR starting to get low, or filtration rate of the kidneys, but got kidney stones. Oh my goodness. Don't take calcium ever. You want to do some K2 rich things, fermented soy, so something like miso. You could do some fermentable fibers, sauerkraut, all the things, all the fermentable veggies and things. And Japanese knotweed, dandelion root, helping with the kidneys a ton there, even astragalus. And probably taking in kidney as an organ meat, so through capsule. But on a weight loss program, is that the same? Yes, just started. Oh, interesting. I hate weight loss programs because it's like people just bounce back to where they were, That's just my opinion, though. If your health is off, you are not going to be able to lose weight until you get the health squared away, and then you can lose weight. So, hey there. Ketosis-prone diabetes. Interesting. I would wonder if what's happening there dietarily. If you're trying to restrict sugars, what are you doing with the diet? I'd be so curious. And where's your insulin? Where's your A1C? Where are your triglycerides? Where's your fasting glucose? I would even wonder if they even checked some of those things. How to lose weight? I mean, it depends on the person, right? Overarchingly, you want to get total daily energy expenditure higher. You want to get, I hate when people say metabolism because that's kind of determined already. That's just coded within you. The daily expenditure piece is the burning of calories that's used up from either taking them in or burning them or just functioning throughout the day. So the thyroid and the liver determine how quickly that energy expenditure goes. Sometimes thyroid hormones get low in autoimmunity and things like that because there's a lot going on with the immune system. It kind of has to downregulate, otherwise there'll be more damage. But getting stress down, supporting the thyroid, supporting the liver, getting enough protein in, and you women do not eat enough protein at all. So I talk to so many women. Go to thewellnessway.com, type in protein calculator, and then your goal weight, your activity levels, height, weight, all that stuff, and then it'll give you a number to shoot for, and then you want to pretty much find, or I could just send you the highest nutrient-dense protein sources, whether animal-based or, plant-based, and go from there. But resistance training, sprinting, cold exposure, saunas, all things that are going to get you to do that. But again, if there's something off metabolically, you're going to be hitting a wall most of the time. So we got to get labs done. We have to get labs done. There's no quick answers. Okay? There's no quick answers. But new to the whole glasses thing, so trying our best here. Trying our best. Restricting carbs more than sugars, it's more complex compound for the body. What? What are you saying? Okay. I was sleeved with RA 2022. RA doc put me on prednisone for a year, gained 60 pounds. Oh my goodness. Yeah, prednisone is not a fun one. Again, this is a complex scenario to where I would want you to message me. I would want to see your labs and where those are at, because your body's going to really need some help with, one, even getting enough adrenal support there in the first place. That's usually the problem, is that adrenals were too insufficient to begin with, and now you introduced a very powerful anti-inflammatory hormone that the body makes, but now it converts all of your adrenal hormones into that cortisone. You get super tired, energy plummets, and you can tack on weight a lot because you're forcing that pathway, over-forcing that pathway to combat the inflammatory reactions from the RA. Or you find the inflammatory reactions that are causing the RA in the first place, support the body with the pathways that are throwing it off, reverse engineer that, calm those systems down, start going the other way, stop the progression, and have your body heal itself from the inside out, which totally can be done. Do it all the time. And that's probably what's throwing off the whole sugar thing, because of the autoimmunity. And if you're still doing things like dairy, wheat, grains, all gluten sources there, it's probably a sugar handling issue, and you can't switch into fat burning, so your body's kind of getting stuck there, and you're autoimmune. So we got to get, I want to see some labs here. This is big piece there. Okay. Hello. Will my metabolism reset? It probably not. Probably not. If you have to do supplementation, you can't just do nothing. It's going to take way too long. Probably like 3 to 5 years to get back to normal there with doing nothing. Maybe. That's even maybe. From the sleeve diet. Oh, send the labs. Beautiful. Labs do give us a lot of clues there. Gives us a window into, okay, well, where do we have to go from here? But wonderful questions so far. You guys are rocking it today. Facebook, so quiet. What's happening? Why are you guys so quiet? I guess you're just along for the ride, huh? Mm-mm-mm. Let me see. Did I? Okay, cool. We hit them all, I think. Oh, and I confused Sky and our second friend. Okay, so now I. Hi, do you have any suggestion? I have. Okay, endometriosis. Every period hurts a lot. Yeah, no kidding. Supporting your liver is going to be most important here. Doing things like Sasandra, dandelion root, cruciferous veggies, sprouted veggies that have a lot of sulforaphane in there. You can push a lot of the protective CYP 1A1 pathways in the liver there that convert those things out of the body. Methylated B vitamins too. Wonderful way you could do that. But, St. John's, maybe, we have to know where those estrogens are going. So if it's not a production issue, most likely, if you're cycling especially, then we got to do a Dutch test to evaluate those. But support your liver with those couple things there. Let's do a Dutch test. Send me a message. We'll get that ordered and then go over it. See what you got to do. Simple as that, guys. Obviously, there will be some food changes, some things lifestyle-wise, but aside from that, some supplementation to get it all going there. I made your daughter stop crying. Oh no. How'd I do that? Must have been something I said, huh? Son's appointment's tomorrow. Wonderful. My voice. Nice. We don't even have the nice mic plugged into TikTok there. I got it. I got the nice one plugged into Facebook for the viewing pleasure today. Soothing voice. Hey, there we go. Do you think you can cure Crohn's? That statement alone is... there's a lot wrong with that statement. I don't cure Crohn's. Nobody cures Crohn's. There is no cure for Crohn's. Your body recreates those tissues inside once you pull away the stressors and get the toxicity out of your system, get inflammation down, and do the rebuilding. But you have to figure that out through labs. So, good question though. First order of business is going to be doing a stool test so that you could see the barriers that are getting disrupted within the GI, the infections there, the pre and probiotic counts, the breakdown and absorption of your foods. We have to know that. From there, you can now go, okay, where's the supportive factors needed? Get a food allergy test as well. Now you can pull away a lot of, immune burden there too. I would like to see blood work along with this too, just because it's an autoimmune case. I would wonder if you've had labs already. I'd love to look at them and go from there. But, can you get sort of far with some albizia, some nettle leaf, maybe chamomile, slippery elm, early on support? But I have to know your vitamin D. I have to know where natural killer cells are, T cells, B cells. There's a lot that goes into this. So the immune system is probably where we got to start. Okay. But you got to take action to make something change in the world, If you don't change anything, nothing's going to change, right? Fasting for 30 days, what do you think? I don't know. I don't know anything about you. Could be beneficial. Could be more harm than good, but I don't know. It depends on cycling or not, female, male, what else is going on, weight trends. You got to time it right, Daughter struggles go number 2. Suggestions. I do like magnesium citrate a lot, especially for what do I do right now? Long term though, it's going to be probably something that child's immune system's been trying to deal with for a while. Maybe vaccination had an impact on that. Possibly foods coming in. I wonder formula fed. I would wonder grain intake, sugar intake, food allergies. Got to test for those too. But yeah, some chamomile, magnesium citrate. if that's not working, you could do some gastro clear. But if she's a young kiddo, then you probably don't have to go that aggressive. But female, 170, 5'9", fasting over 72 hours is going to be a little bit rocky if things hormonally can be on the deficient end. So I would wonder if you're deficient in anything hormonally. Because if that's the case, then it's going to be really hard to do a 30-day fast. So, yeah, especially with that height and weight. But good question, though. Giving it to you straight, right? No fluff here. No fluff. Okie doke. Well, hey. We're rocking for a good bit here. I don't even know. I always forget to check when I go live. I have no idea how long we've been on here, but either way, Facebook doing well. You guys aren't very chatty over on Facebook. I don't know what's gotten into the people. Have I ever encountered a Karen? I have. I actually had 2 Karens within the last year or 2. It was kind of funny. But I mean, there's a reason why they're Karens, though. There is a reason from that neurological perspective, and usually a hormone perspective too. So I see it more as mismanaged healthcare, and menopause is not a terrible place to be. It's actually the easiest time in life to get a woman's hormones to regulate anyway. So, yeah, which is a pretty unpopular opinion there, but I've done it plenty of times. Tons of wellness ways across the country, one in Ireland, and we have tens of thousands of patients, testimonials. So, yeah, from a hormone deficiency standpoint, you're going to get very frustrated very quickly, and the birth of the Karen begins with low hormones. How I would like to know, was that the same? Oh no, different question. Gigi, I don't know where that. Oh, sorry for the invitation. I hate how TikTok puts a bunch of invites like in the thing here. Okie doke. I started eating Ital. Rasta plant-based, yet still some hormone fluctuations. Well, yeah, you cut out all your fat sources, and now you can't make hormones from fat, and the cholesterol from things coming in dietarily is supporting that. So I don't know why you went plant-based. That's going to lower hormones, which is probably why you're seeing the issue there. When you stop producing hormones when you're going through menopause. Okay, do you believe in hormone? You want to get the adrenals to regulate because that woman has lived for 50 years and stressed out a bunch between her husband and relationships and kids and work and all the things. So if you start to correct those adrenals, now she's not going to hold on to fat as much. Mental clarity comes along. You're going to have less irritability. Wonderful things start to change. But yeah, you want to support the liver. You want to get the adrenals to start to regulate. I think doing some blood and urine hormone testing there is how you get that to solve, because now you know, okay, where do we fill in the gaps? But black cohosh can be very beneficial for sensitizing estrogen receptors. Female glandular, another beautiful thing you can do to get actual, constituents from ovarian tissue, liver, things like that. There are some seeds and things that you could do. I would just want to know some food allergies and things, but ashwagandha, licorice, black cohosh, 3 beautiful things you can get. Link in bio there. Change your life. But yeah, you got to start with a little bit of support, but getting the hormone testing is key, guys. Please, I see so many people. What do I take? It should be, what lab do I do to figure out this problem, Dr. Antonio? I love that question. And I would love to see it pop in here. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, doesn't that just make sense? Like, hey, I have a hormone problem. Okay. Where are they at? And we go from there, right? But it's like you guys get trained to think, I have a hormone problem. Okay, birth control. What? Where are the hormones at? Same thing. That kid needs a vaccine. Where are his immune cells at? Where's vitamin D? Natural killer cells, B cells, T cells, all these things. Did the mom do any of that support? Okay, no wonder your kid's getting sick left and right. You've given him nothing but poison. I'm not surprised at all. Either way. You know. So it is harder to lose weight due to being tall. Is it harder? It should be easier, to be quite honest. Okay. Boom. Cashew, avocado, coconut are most fats. Check it out. Thanks. Yeah, I would just stop doing the plant-based thing. You're going to be spending way more time, energy, and money on trying to solve this issue rather than just doing meat source things. I mean, if you really, really don't want to do it, then there's, it can be done. It's just going to be a lot harder and more expensive, but you can do it. We can do it. Totally. I'll name the three things again. So black cohosh, licorice, and ashwagandha would be my top three. Not knowing anything about the person, just thinking that topic in general. Because you're going to get the most androgen production out of the licorice. That is probably the highest androgen producing herb there is for men or women. And from there, with that black cohosh, your androgens are going to become estrogens. They convert down. So, some of that's there. Maybe a little bit of coleus too. But yeah, there's so many things that you could do. It's now what is for you. But those would be my top three, I would say. Playing it safe. Mainly adaptogens, so you're not going to be forcing anything. I have kidney failure, vasculitis, so you want to be taking in kidneys. I would be doing some blood sugar glandular. I would be doing cordyceps mushroom, helping with the nephrons within the kidney and nitric oxide dilation within the kidney as well. Astragalus, tons of vascular support, even tons of research on changing homocysteine markers and things like that too, just by taking some astragalus. Can you do some dandelion root in there too? Totally. Some albizia, sure. But I would want to know where your labs are at. What's the whole patient story here? Because there's probably a lot to do with sugar involved, especially with heavy kidney cases like this. So send me a message. First call's free. Let's set that up and get you going. Itching around the body with flat rash that gets worse at night. So it's probably something that you're eating or something in the body trying to get out. And, cut out your grains, cut out all sources of grains right now. Because they're riddled with pesticides, genetically modified, horrible sources of things, have gluten in there. That's going to do damage, physical damage to the GI. And then once that's occurring, now that's going to cause a bunch of inflammatory issues. Plus, now you can make room for opportunistic things to take place and get a bunch of infections, like possible yeast or bacterial things going on, creating your rash. So, albizia topically and orally. You could do some nettle leaf as well, just to calm down that inflammatory response. But I would want you to do probably a simple blood work panel, so we can evaluate some sugars and things, and food allergy test, or looking at CRP and things like that, and go from there. But yeah, good question. Can a woman not bleeding get pregnant? Possibly. It's just going to be really hard to maintain that pregnancy because that cycle is a sign of fertility. So if you can't properly stimulate and break down an ovarian follicle, or you're ovulating a cyst from something like PCOS, which is very common, let us know, number one. Number two, that's going to make it really hard to, number one, get pregnant, number two, carry out that pregnancy. So, yeah, there's plenty you can do there, though. I just need to know more about you. Hello, hello. So many people saying, hey, what's going on? How are you guys? The newcomers. What do we got? New people popping in. See some people over on Facebook still. And for some reason, the Facebook camera looks better than the TikTok camera today. What's up with that, huh? I need a new phone for this anyways. So it's going to be hard. Not knowing more info about you, yes, it's going to be nearly impossible to know if you can carry a baby. I don't know anything about your cycle, weight, metabolic health, no labs. I don't know. Send me a message, though. We got to get on the phone and see what's going on. But, yeah, there's basically half our patient base are people that were told that they couldn't get pregnant in the first place. And then they do. There's tons of wellness way babies, So, question, do you like fasting for weight loss for people? Sometimes. Especially if it's a guy, I love it. If you have like a Kevin James figure as a guy, fasting is your cup of tea there. But, you just gotta watch. You gotta watch hormonally sometimes in female populations, because they could just disrupt cycles and have a lot of stuff go wrong. So I would want to know more about that. Still a valid question, though, But fasting's great. It does so much for the body. It's just your body needs to be ready for fasting. Hopefully that clears up some of the confusion there. Your body's got to be ready for it. Can be too much. Fasting is a stressor. So, good thing to keep in mind. How to know if it gets dangerous? I mean, you're going to have symptoms either way during a fast, but I would do pre and post labs to evaluate that. Lab testing, by far best way. But, yeah. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to grab another sip of water. I ran out. Okie doke. Where were we? Okay. So, Facebook people hanging out. As mentioned previously, right? We've got complimentary calls available. Check out the link in bio. If I did not get to your question, please either resubmit it or send me a message. Get in contact with me somehow, Let's make sure we get everybody addressed here. I'm surprised the batteries lasted this long on this little microphone here. Some of you guys probably didn't even know that there was one on this. We got some returning viewers saying, hey, how you doing? Good morning. Oh my goodness. What do you mean good morning? 6 p.m. Where are you saying good morning from, though? Where are you viewing from in the world? Shelly. Welcome back, Shelly. Okay, we're going to help with teeth pain infections. So, good question. You could... Yeah, there's a lot there. I mean, boswellia, you could do some turmeric. I would want to know what this infection is like, though, because some of those are liquid herbs, and I don't know if you would want that burning your mouth up there. So it's 11:45 p.m. Oh, nice. It is the morning. But yeah, Boswellia, wonderful for pain. Also California poppy, wonderful as well. But, you know, the infection piece is the majority of what's going on. So I would want you to do some probiotic there, like a megabiotic, and probably a medicinal mushroom like turkey tail, and then a digestive bitter in there, probably like Oregon grape, but just a little bit for pain sensory things, and then some of the microbial things that go on, aloe vera juice, mouthwash in, and things like that. So she says, pull or root canal. That's not my call. I have no idea what's going on with your case. You guys ask me some ballsy questions sometimes. It's kind of funny. You guys are like, I don't know, but made me laugh though. So thank you, Miss Shelley. Yeah, the root canal thing. Just make sure you're going to a biological dentist. That way, that you're not going to have toxic material put into and installed into your head, because there will be, or could be, complications with air pockets and necrosing tissue that still has some oxygen capacity in there, and it starts to rot, and it's very terrible, and very common. So, yeah, valid question though. Valid question. It's just, I can only say so much, It's more of a dentistry thing. What kind of dentist? Yeah, biological dentist is what you want to see. Wonderful people. Do you know much about menopause? Tons of menopause. So when the ovaries stop creating follicles, you get menopause. You run out. So that's another stage in life. Just like when you went from being a kiddo to puberty. And then from that, you became an adult and so on. So now you hit the next stage. In that next stage, the ovaries on vacation for the most part. Basically like 1% of your hormones are going to come from there. Now the majority of them are going to come from the adrenal glands. So this is where the mental stress piece is massive for women in menopause, especially. Because if those adrenals are not producing enough, or if they're overproducing, you're going to have some major problems, and you're going to have some issues with your estrogens and some progesterone things that go on. Obviously, there's dietary support that you could do. Don't negate the fats, the proteins, all the good, healthy animal-based source things. But don't forget about the plant-based source things too. You can do some things with seeds. I think, maca powder, awesome for being a food group that can stimulate some hormonal production from the brain to some of the adrenals and things there. But your fat tissue is also going to be a hormone producer here too. So if there's a reason, whether it's sugar handling, issues with fat metabolism, liver issues, gallbladder congestion, SIBO or small intestinal overgrowth, things like that, you're going to have a lot of problems with losing weight, and now you're going to pack on more fat in order to, one, have enough hormonal reserve to carry out the next day. So a lot that goes on there. But, black cohosh, supporting the mental stress piece, black cohosh, licorice, ashwagandha, things that are going to help with adrenal production, so they're not holding and relying on a bunch of fat tissue, repair that adrenal piece there, and then black cohosh just sensitizing estrogen receptors so that you can get the most out of those hormones being created from the adrenals and have them come down to the estrogen. So, yeah, good. We were talking about that trio just before you popped in here. If I were to add a fourth, it would be white peony, just to support that conversion from the androgens down. But, we got to get testing done, though. Have to get testing done. You need blood work. You need urine testing to pair with that so that you can see production and conversion of these things, know exactly what to do, have a game plan going forward, and then discontinue care. That is my goal, for you not to be in this office. But that requires labs and some work. So, but your body can go back to normal. And you don't have to live with that forever. Menopause is the easiest stage in life to balance things hormonally. Easiest, by far. by far the easiest. So, could it be the reason that teeth cracks? Usually it's deficiencies and things that change microbially for why teeth crack. And if you guys are long-term watchers or viewers, can you hear how repetitive I sound almost? That everything comes back to deficiencies and toxicities from inflammatory responses, daily stressor battles that lead you down those paths, those two paths there. You encounter stressors mentally, chemically, or physically. Those inflame your body, lead you to be toxic or deficient. That is what happens to every human on the planet. How your body adapts to that situation is going to be different in each one of you. And the only way for me to know that is to do consults and lab testing. How else would I know that, right? Some details and things like that help, but I cannot stress that point enough that you get your labs done. If you need help getting labs done, let me know. I order them every day. Yeah, first call is free too. So message me, do what you got to do, book a call, do all the things. But testing is key. And then from there, it's creating a game plan based on that approach that I was talking about earlier. From that approach of, okay, maybe I have to change some of my own behavior because of the way I treat my body and the way the world treats my body. We got to help your body adapt to all those things going on. So it's very much behavioral based. I can attest to that repeatedly. Thousands of people. So is it easy? No, not at all. Do blood pressure pills, especially cause ED? They could definitely do that. Tons of side effects there. The teeth crack thing, though. Sorry to get back to that. Van Man tooth powder, probably the best tooth powder I know of. And you would obviously want to get something like Dr. Braun's toothpaste so that you can put it on there and it's not like a weird powdery feel. But that's going to have hydroxyapatite in there, xylitol, and basically the ingredients to make a healthy tooth. And you'll basically install that carpenter type of doctor thinking there. We want to rebuild the house, right? Not just keep spraying it down with water and doing surgery all the time. But yeah, that's step one. Starting to put the building blocks, the materials for the teeth in there. And then the microbial piece, yeah, you got to watch your sugar, man. You got to watch, you got to watch your sugar because that's going to lead to microbial overgrowth and things. And I wonder if you've had strep throat or, issues with the GI in the past because a lot of those things stem from the GI in the first place. So that could very well be what is now creating some issues from a metabolic point of view. So, okay, favorite Pokemon. Jeez, guys. Hello. How are you guys doing? Okay, we got a good amount of battery left here. So, I'm going to do a quick intermish. I'm going to leave everything here. I'm not going to pause anything. We'll be back live in action. But yeah, I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Okay. I feel like that took me longer than I was going to say originally, but I got stuck talking to some people in the hallway, so I'm a bit of a chatterbox, you know. How am I doing today? I'm doing well. Doing well. How are you? Okay, we left off with the favorite Pokemon. I remember that. Alright. So. Hello, Carol. Welcome, welcome. Alright. Well, hey. I have some calls coming up here this evening. So thanks for hanging out, though. That was fun. Hope you guys had a good little round of questioning in there. As always, though, if I did not get to your questions or you want further labs, complimentary calls, or to start care up, or to get the things I discussed, link is in bio there. You can get all those things, and we will be back on here tomorrow. So stay tuned. Thanks for hanging out. See you guys.